Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to Now Playing. My name is LJ, and I am your host. Using my radio voice this morning because we're playing a pretty cool game. This is Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. And it's one of my favorites from when I first got a Nintendo 64. I'm not going to talk through this intro here. Okay, I'll talk. See, this story took place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. It was a marketing tool used by Lucasfilm to try and promote a single story as a video game, a book, and as basically just merchandise. And it worked. It was a successful franchise, but the thing was, a lot of people just weren't convinced of its canonicity, I guess you could say. So anyways, the video game was an adaptation of the book anyways. And I read the book, and I was actually very interested in the book. I liked it a lot. Oh, Budweiser, you fill me up so well. Outrider to Echo Base, please respond. I don't know how Dash Rendar would speak. By the way, Dash Rendar is the main dude. He's like a Han Solo knockoff, in my opinion. But he's cool, too. So, we've made contact with the rebels. This is Dash Rendar. I have a supply shipment for Echo Base. Transmitting clearance code now. Clearance granted. We are lowering the energy field. You may land at Bay 3. Wow, these guys mean business. Han Solo! I thought you were still on Ord Mantell. Bounty hunter trouble bringing here? Yeah, I see you still fly with the Outrider. Here she's almost as fast as the Falcon now. The last time we raced, I let you win, Han. You and that pile of bolts wouldn't stand a chance now. Right. You'll get your chance to show off, Ace. The Empire's headed this way. If I put in a good word for you, Luke may help you join Rogue Squadron. As for me, I've got to get off this ice cube and pay off Jabba. Maybe I'll take you up on that race someday. God, I love Harrison Ford. He's so cool. Okay, so this is Shadows of the Empire. I'm not going to take up too much time with the exposition, but I think I've said all that needs to be said. So let's go ahead and jump into this. It's made up of chapters. Let me explain something about this game, which is pretty cool. Besides the graphics, which, you know, it was early N64, but it was very effective because they paid a lot of attention to detail. One thing that was especially cool about this game in particular was the use of the music. Now, let me explain something. The N64 had a board in it which was just like any other synthesizer that you would have on a video game system. I am sucking at this. So they would essentially copy a song via the synthesizer, and they would reproduce it the best they could. Anyways, if you notice the music, it sounds orchestral and professional and great, and that's because they use the actual music from the movies, which was one of those things that I think was really impressive and unique about this title in particular. If you listen to Rogue Squadron, they have songs from these other games, but they're all just synthesized versions of them. I'm going to die. Ignore this, you're not seeing this. Wow. Another thing that's really cool about this game is that it actually kind of follows the movie a little bit. Empire Strikes Back, that is. You know that really old movie, The Empire Strikes Back? You know, where they had the walking thingies? Anyways, it's pretty cool because it actually has you do the tow cable thing. And watch this. This is so cool. I don't care how old school this is. Bam! Okay, now I'm flying around him. That took forever to do, by the way. It never takes this long. But can you see it? I'm like wrapping him up, just like on Empire Strikes Back. And you win a challenge point. Now, you may not have noted this, but I can also shoot him and blow him up, but we're not going to do that. I am instead going to go into the cockpit and check it out. Whichever direction you're facing, if there's an enemy that direction, then you actually see him on your HUD. Tell me that's not epic. Alright, now here's where you actually play as Dash in person. And I'm actually, like, I would diss the graphics, but it's actually pretty impressive. I'm just going to skip past all this. And I'm going to reminisce a little bit. Now, to those of you who grew up in the 80s/90s, people who had a subscription to Nintendo Power, I believe, they actually... Ooh, check it out, the Millennium Falcon. This is such a cool Easter egg. Look. That's from Empire Strikes Back, actually. Where it takes off through the bay. Darth Vader is supposed to be, like, you know, chasing after the Falcon in the movie. But anyways, people who subscribe to Nintendo Power, had this tape mailed to them that showed off the Nintendo 64. And this is one of the games the Nintendo 64 launched with, and which was also one of the first games that I bought. Another thing you may be asking yourself, oh, that looks badass, is how come LJ keeps doing jump cuts? Well, I keep dying. Because this game requires a whole lot of practice to become good at it. The controls aren't bad, per se, but this is early Nintendo 64, so we're talking, it takes a lot of practice to become really good at it. And in this particular case, this game isn't really hard. It's a strategy game, and it requires a lot of player strategizing, and oh hell yeah! Sucker! I'm missing completely. But it takes a lot of strategy in order to kick a lot of ass at this game. And it's not a hard game, like I said. It's just like it takes a lot of thinking outside the box and not being a dumbass like I'm doing to be good at it. And the funny thing is that I'm actually doing very poorly because I haven't played this in a while. And you're like, why haven't you played it in a while? Well, I'm playing this. I haven't played it in a few months. And the idea is to review it from the perspective of a person, oh you bastard, who hasn't played the game before ever. And if I were to go in here and be like, oh yeah, this is so easy, you know, then I'd be neglecting everyone who's playing the game for the first time. I'd be alienating everyone who's essentially never played this game before in their lives. And that would not be cool. Oh, that was badass. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm dying so much. I suffer for your enjoyment. And now we're gonna make it out of here, and you just saw me whoop that boss's ass. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? Oh my god. Okay, I gotta go this way. I got to go this way. God, they have a lot of attention to detail. It may suck by today's standards of graphics. I don't care. I like this game. This looks important. Get to the ship! Oh, fuck that. Fuck that. Get to the outrider. Get to the chopper. Get away from my ship, stormtrooper looking ass. Ain't got no time for you. Ah! What are you doing on my ship? Get out of here. Another thing you may notice is that I keep aiming upward by accident. That's because, actually the controller is fine. Head for the cockpit so we can get out of here. No shit. I forgot what the robot's name is. Behold, the second level has been beaten. Okay, now this is kind of where it gets kind of difficult. And I actually had to lower the difficulty so I can make it to the game better, if that's it. So anyways, launch the missiles with, let's see left, and you shoot the TIE fighters with nards. You shoot them with lots of nards. See if I can jump into the cockpit. Oi! Take that, you stormtroopers. You freaking stormtroopers. See, he locks on automatically, and all you've got to do is just target something and shoot him. God, this is so cool. This is right up a nerd's alley because Empire Strikes Back is like my favorite Star Wars movie ever. So, for me to be able to play this game and review it is pretty cool. Besides, I think that the NES Star Wars games suck, okay? I was going to keep reviewing NES games. I don't have NES Star Wars, but I have the Game Boy version, which essentially is an equivalent, but I just don't like it. I just think it's so ridiculously, like, irrelevant. I mean, you know. I mean, there are other hard games out there, like, oh my god. Ah, love the missile. Like, for example, Super Star Wars is hard, okay? But that's actually a good game, like, you know, I can't even knock it. I mean, it's a hard game, it's hard, but it's fun. And this game is hard too, but it takes patience. You can't just jump into it and be like, oh, Star Wars! And if you do, then, you know, you're just a badass, but, you know. Well, those missiles are awesome. Those missiles are awesome. Those there missiles are awesome, don't you know? Sadly, Dash Reindeers and Uper. And if we were to survive the harsh cold of the winter, the harsh cold of space winter, then we would make the jump to light speed. But if not, then we were probably screwed. And it was cool because we didn't deserve to live anyway. There were a lot of us in the Rebel Alliance, and I'm pretty sure that the rest of them were really pissing off the parents. Yeah! Oh my god! What the fuck? Holy crap! Yeah! I was trying to capture most of the exposition, but my camcorder filled up. You were correct, Captain IG-88 is down in the salvage yard outside the city of Aforementioned. I told you Princess Leia hired the right guy, Lebo. Lebo's his name! God, how did I not remember that? I kept thinking, Lobot for some reason. I was like, no, Lobot's a dude from Cloud City. What is his name? IG-88's ship was destroyed in a battle with Boba Fett. I'll bet he's looking here for spare parts. And if I'm right, he'll lead me straight to Boba Fett. I gotta see the doctor. How am I going to find IG-88 in this pile of junk? Oh, simple, he's the only junk that's moving. Lebo, did the scopes find IG-88's exact location? Yes, sir, in the salvage plant at the far end of the junkyard. A hover train runs through the junkyard and leads right to the loading door. The door is closed, but if you reach the last hover train's engine, I can shut off the auto brake and it'll crash through the door. Oh, that sounds safe. I like his Samsung Galaxy watch, though. That's pretty cool. So, one of the things that I appreciate about this game is the graphics, because it really puts you in the Star Wars universe. From the Millennium Falcon, to the blasters, to the AT-ATs and AT-STs, and yeah, the chicken walkers. Everything just looks so cool. The TIE fighters. It's all just a wonderful experience that puts you back in the Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi mode. And especially the appearance of the weapons. I mean, you don't use a lightsaber in this game, but you use a blaster that looks just like Han Solo's. This guy looks just like he did on the action figures and crap like that. So they went through a lot of work to try and make this guy look just like he did on the merchandising. And this was just one big vehicle for them to try and make a new story, which is no longer canon, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. Gameplay, I'm giving this game a 4 out of 5 because the controls are a little tough to figure out and get used to. They're a little floaty, and what I mean by that is whenever you jump, it's like he's on the moon. You'll miss a lot of jumps before you figure out how the jumping works and where you're gonna land and such. Like that, I almost missed that. I couldn't tell if it was going to jump or duck. And it takes a little bit of trial and error to figure it out. But when you get used to it, you can up the difficulty and it becomes less of a hard game and more of a fun game. And what I mean by that is, it's actually a pretty fun game. So 4 out of 5. These guys did an excellent job. I'm proud of them. I'm happy with the game, with the gameplay's difficulty and everything. Graphics. As I said, the graphics are impressive and remind me of Star Wars. I just died. I failed. And I'm really like impressed with the way this game looks. And I know that like a lot of you are probably sitting there going, "This looks like crap." But think of how excited we were to fucking see this on the Nintendo 64. Excuse my language, but God bless. Like, did I rate the graphics? Okay, I'm gonna give the graphics a 4 out of 5. Not bad for Nintendo 64 standards. Damn good, if you ask me. Sound. Sound for this game is amazing. The sound effects remind me of Star Wars. The music is taken directly from the movies as opposed to being reproduced from the movies. And I think that's a hell of an achievement given the limited space on a Nintendo 64 cartridge. A lot of games that were on the PlayStation were able to use actual soundtracks, mainly because the amount of space on a CD is a lot more than a cartridge. And if you don't believe me, you can look it up. 800 MB versus about 16 MB, or 64, or whatever it was. A very limited amount of megabytes were allowed on a Nintendo 64 cartridge. So anyways, sound, 5 out of 5. I am impressed with the sound. I love it. It's probably the best feature of this game. Overall, I'm giving this game a 4 out of 5, though. I'd say buy it. I don't think it's a must-own title because some people might be turned off by the bad controls. Not bad controls, but the different controls, which require a lot more practice than anything. And like I said, it's not really a bad game. It's just, it takes practice. It takes practice to get good at it. And, oh, god dang. Like those jumps. Like, the jumps take practice to get used to. It's not a hard game. It just takes a lot of strategy and a lot of practice. And you can conquer this. I've actually not beaten this game, but I've played it on easy a bunch of times, and I love it. I love it. I even love the boss fights. The boss fights on other difficulties are really hard, but I think that it's worth buying. And I would say it's not a must-own, but I definitely say if you have to buy any game for the Nintendo 64, buy Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. It's no longer canon, unfortunately, but god dang, is it a good game. Thank you very much. My name is LJ. You're watching Now Playing. Have a great day. Oh, and by the way, may the force be with you. This is not with me. I just suck.